Hello and welcome to a quick review chat for the latest game to hit the Nintendo Switch, ARMS. I'm Tef and I'm joined today by Dom. Say hello, Dom.
Hello.
So, first things first, the title music is pretty damn catchy, right?
Yes, it might want you to. You might want to pull your ears off after a little while, but it is really catchy.
Yeah, I had a whole day of it just playing in the background, and after a while it's just like, okay, I think I'm over this, but it's a good tune.
I like that it's all vocal as well. I think that's it's nice. But then as you play the game, and all of the stage music also has the same underlying riff inside it, then perhaps it starts to get to you.
Alright, so ARMS, this is, well, it's basically the return of motion controls. This is Nintendo going back to what they did so well with the Wii, but obviously with much higher fidelity in the actual sensing that you've got in the Joy-Con. I find it takes a bit of getting used to, and it's occasionally still a little bit imprecise with what it's doing, but what did you think?
I think overall it does a really, really good job. I mean, you can sort of put aside any memories of all of the waggle games that you had on the Wii and all of the horrible third-party stuff as well. This is Nintendo using the Switch to its absolute best ability, really, for doing motion sensing stuff. And most of the time, it is spot on. Obviously, that comes with like the caveat of if you have any problems with your Joy-Cons and the connectivity, you may find that that's going to be the same thing here. So you probably need to sit closer to your Switch. Maybe that's what I have to do. But otherwise, the way that it works, just the fact that you can curve punches.
I think that's my favourite thing about it, definitely. It plays so much into the kind of strategy of the game that you can sort of like push people around the arena because you've got curving punches and they're like, okay, I've got to avoid that one, so I'm dodging, and you set up a new punch in the path they're heading towards because they're avoiding one coming from another side. It's really cool.
Yeah. And amazingly, sort of very close to boxing. You have to control the space. But obviously with characters with giant spring-loaded arms.
But if you're not one for motion controls, and I know there are some people who don't like them, or you're on a train, in which case motion controls aren't appropriate in the slightest, you can fall back to the buttons. Now, I've not played with this much, but I know that they're kind of idiosyncratic a little bit. They don't quite make perfect sense. So like L3 is for block. You don't have like individual control of the curve of each arm. It's just both are mapped to the left stick. But aside from that, how does it feel? Does it, on the whole, add up to something equal to the motion controls?
It's not equal to the motion controls.
Right.
It feels a lot more familiar. So if you play stuff like the Naruto Ninja Storm games and stuff, where there's a lot of leaping around and things like that, it's got that same kind of sensation to it a bit, but because you don't have the individual curving inputs, it does lose a bit of something. What you do get, on the other hand, is the fact that the control is obviously very, very precise. So your movement around the arena becomes a lot easier using an analog stick, and obviously,
as opposed to tilting both hands and
yeah. So I think there is some kind of balance between the two. At the moment, I don't necessarily see either one as having the absolute advantage over the other. Both got things that are good about them, but they both work, and that's the key thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, definitely. Speaking of balance, though, there's how many fighters? Is it 10 fighters?
There's 10 fighters that you can choose from, and then there's a couple of boss characters as well on top of that.
Interesting. But yeah, there's some good variety in the fighters, definitely. And on the whole, do you think they're balanced? And then also, which one's your favourite? Mine is Min Min. I main Min.
I think that, they're all really very nicely designed. Obviously, there's sort of little bits of shades of Overwatch and stuff creeping in here.
Yeah.
Because they obviously have played on. Each one's got different abilities as well, on top of on top of the core motion stuff. Whether they're entirely balanced right now is an interesting question. Certainly, Ribbon Girl is an absolute nightmare to fight against.
Because her ability is to just like keep jumping in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, so she can jump 4 times in a row. So trying to get a bead on her, particularly as you move up the levels, is absolutely awful. I think the characters that have better mobility do at the moment seem to have a bit of an edge.
Yeah, Ninjara is another one that's an absolute nightmare because half the time, every single dodge, he kind of disappears, he blinks out of existence, and it's like, well, I can't grab him when he's not there.
Sort of some of the more grounded characters like Mummy Master and Mechanica, who sort of design-wise I really, really like. And Mechanica was the first character that I picked. All the characters are supposed to be sort of the mutated people, aren't they, that have the arms ability, whereas Mechanica is a little girl who's built this suit with extendable arms on it.
She's basically Nintendo creating Diva.
Yes. Well, more or less, yeah. They're a bit tougher, sort of, because they're a bit slower moving, a bit more powerful attacks and grabs and stuff. But again, I think there's going to take a bit more time to settle, and I'm sure that Nintendo are going to go in there and start tweaking stuff as they go along, as you do with any fighting game, really.
Yeah. One thing I do like over the entire game, actually, is that it's kind of got this Brazilian flavour, or at least a more general South American flavour. There's sort of wrestling Lucha Libre masks that they all wear as well. Turning to the game modes, that's the other side of things, and I feel there's definitely a party atmosphere. Yes, you've got the straight up fights, but then you've also got like 1 versus 100 mode, where you're pitted against 100 enemies. Kind of party games like Hoops and V-Ball, and there's just this kind of fun atmosphere to it.
Yeah, and atmosphere-wise, it's not quite like any other fighting game. When you're playing online, and it sort of switches through modes, so that sort of really helps keep things fresh. You don't get too bored of just bout after bout after bout. Hoops is an odd one.
Hoops is great, bro.
Because sometimes there can be nothing more annoying than beating your opponent up and then them coming off the rim, but grabbing them and slam dunking them into the hoop is a lot more satisfying. And then I really quite like V-Ball, really, the volleyball.
Yeah.
Which my only problem with it is that it feels like the rounds are just that little bit too short.
That's something I definitely agree with. Yeah.
Could perhaps go on for at least another 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, I think the only place that the game modes fall down is with the 2v2, which, yes, it's fun, but it's too frantic. Although there is a clever twist where you've got a ribbon connecting the 2 characters on each side. You've also got 3-way matches, which I wasn't a fan of at all, because switching to target a different character, because you have to be locked on, and switching is difficult, and it means that you're always being flanked 100% of the time, and it's so easy to get ganged up on in that mode.
I think the 2v2 though is something that you really will crack out at a party.
Oh yeah, no, it's full on party game, definitely. But for any serious kind of competition, it's too crazy.
Oh, serious? Yeah, it's not serious in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, talk about the single player side of things as well. Like, is there a kind of story or a campaign? Just quickly, what is it? Is it just a straight up series of fights?
Yeah, so the Grand Prix is really a very traditional sort of fighting. Line all of your opponents up and work your way through them. And it's almost a bit disappointing that there isn't some sort of larger story to play, really. You do learn about each of the characters as you go through them, a bit about their background, but that's what fighting games are about. You do get a nice a traditional static image at the end of each one. Once you start beating them on level 4 and up. Yeah, it's a surprisingly traditional side of it, I suppose. But it does work.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's clear then that ARMS is mainly about the multiplayer. So finally, just to sum up your thoughts, is this a yay, a nay, or a kind of maybe if you're into this kind of fighting game?
I think this is a yay. Please, you're looking at this is Nintendo doing what Nintendo do best, which is creating a fun game. It's not always perfect. I guess anything that involves motion controls rarely is, but you've got a great array of characters. There's loads of game modes. The action is a lot of fun, and the whole game just has a great atmosphere that's a lot of fun to take part in.
Alright, awesome. So that's everything for this video chat review kind of thing for ARMS. You can also head over to thesixaxis.com where we've got Dom's written review. In the meantime, please do like, subscribe and share this video with your friends, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye.